Hello, welcome to week 3. There are 2 assignments due this week. First, please write an abstract that touches on all of the readings for the week and by the date and time noted in the syllabus. Also, please review your classmates' abstract and thoroughly respond to 2 of these. Again, if you are unclear as to what constitutes a thorough response, please see the rubric for discussion in the Pages section of our Camino site to understand the depth of the response that's expected. These responses to the abstracts count towards your participation grade and must be posted within 24 hours of when the abstract was due. We also have our first major submission due soon. If you get a draft by the date and time noted in the syllabus, I will offer you feedback in time to get your revised final copy back to me. Please email me this, both your draft if you choose to do one and your final copy, in a PDF format. The structure of the paper is outlined in the syllabus, but you're basically taking an author's concept, explaining the author's idea in 1 to 2 sentences, then critiquing it for a page. That doesn't mean ripping it to shreds, but maybe you do. But usually critiquing just entails illustrating what the author might have missed. Be sure you critique the author's concept here, not the broader phenomenon. In other words, for example, be sure you critique Hochschild's understanding of the family myth and not the phenomenon of family myth. For instance, you might point out that she says myths are helpful, but you might add that they can become dangerous in unhealthy relationships. So you are not critiquing the fact that families create myths, although you might personally object to it. But what you are critiquing is her concept when she is broadly supportive of family myths, and showing that it can be helpful in some cases, not all cases. Next, apply your critiqued concept to a concrete situation. While you might be more abstract in your critique section, the application section is the time to get specific. You might, for instance, write about a news article that you read, a friend's experience, or maybe your own experience in dealing with alcoholism in the family. You would show that the family myth within the family myth, everyone told themselves that Dad's tendency to celebrate too hard, the fact that he often missed important family events, his inability to hold down a job, all of this was just Dad, rather than Dad's alcoholism. Eventually, after many years of hurting his spouse and children, both physically and emotionally, it ended in divorce and unresolved feelings of neglect. In this sad application, you would have illustrated that the family myth, while helpful in some family situations, can be damaging or even deadly in others. Finally, you'll take 2 pages to morally evaluate the situation. Consider questions such as, how does the concept or issue affect the common good? How does it contribute to or hinder the flourishing of individuals? How do larger social forces, such as poverty, law, and so forth, interact with this situation? What are some solutions to this problem? In sum, tell us if this is a positive or negative situation for individuals or society, given your own moral context. You do not need to address all of these questions, and you're welcome to come up with your own questions as they are relevant, but I'm offering these to get you started. To continue with our example, you would weigh in on the pros and cons to the family myth and evaluate the usefulness of this particular strategy. You may decide that the family myth is generally useful, but in particular cases can exacerbate negative situations that honesty and support would better solve. This week's readings are going to close gender and look at sexuality and dating too. We'll be reading several chapters in Hochschild, giving us more couples as well as analyzing her findings. We'll read a couple of theological pieces as well as some of Aziz Ansari's book on modern romance. Yes, you heard me right. Aziz Ansari teamed up with sociologist of disaster Eric Kleinenberg to study what is going on in singles' love lives. Hopefully you find these chapters as funny, insightful, and useful as other students have. If you have read the 2 articles geared for a more popular audience this week, you'll already know that Aziz Ansari is a problematic figure to say the least. You'll have the option to discuss this on our Camino site too. There will again be lectures that will offer some supplementary knowledge to give us some context and some questions to discuss. As was the case last week, we will have a Zoom meeting. If you are able to make this meeting, fantastic. If not, please respond to these questions in the designated discussion boards. Please keep in mind the discussion grading rubric as you provide an answer and 2 responses. Discussion postings must be completed by the dates and times noted in the syllabus. Okay, thanks and happy reading.